That was a trumpet, if you didn't know. Celebrating earlier than I thought we would the return of the chosen one of the podcast.
The chosen
the one, I guess. I don't know. He doesn't like being podcast guy, so we're calling him podcast guy. Austin Roberts, welcome back, Austin Roberts.
I feel like the introductions have only gotten worse in my absence. Like, we went from hidey-ho to that was a trumpet.
Oh, man. If you make a sound effect and have to explain what it is.
You did not do a good job.
That's fine, whatever.
That's all right. I haven't practiced that trumpet in ever.
Didn't you play trumpet in band, Avery?
Oh, it was the flute.
Dang, yeah, if you could do like a Yaz flute intro for the podcast, I'd be.
Did you say Yaz?
Yaz flute?
I'll bring it
Do
up.
you like
one day.
Yaz?
You like
Four people are gonna get that.
Yeah, it's great. Anyway,
There'll be a special edition where I do all of the like segment songs
With
on
the
my
flute?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
I
all in
cannot
C,
wait.
right?
That would be really fun. Actually.
no, the intro's in D.
Oh,
D jazz.
my B.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I know. Oh, I only know how to play a couple of songs. I don't know if I'll remember it.
You
but
could figure it out probably.
Yeah.
What
I can
it-
still play Rudolph.
What has? I'm gonna ignore that. What has changed since I've been gone? What do I need to be updated on in podcast?
Well, we canceled Recommends Forever.
No.
That's-
one
oh,
episode.
Not
Yeah.
Just
forever.
one. Oh, okay.
Y'all didn't do recommends? Did y'all tell Janice?
Did you not listen?
We apologize.
I've been on a hiatus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cleansing.
Yeah, I've been cleansing. I've been in the mountains drinking only like pepper lemonade. It's been
Pepper lemonade?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, like a cleanse. They do like a lemon pepper. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I don't.
Again, 4
I
people.
thought you had to just do broth.
I think not
Broth
much
phase
has
is
changed.
I think
best
the question
phase.
we should be asking you is what has changed with you, Austin?
There you go.
What has changed in me?
Drinking lemon
You seem
pepper?
sadder lately, so I'm wondering if like it coincides.
He's just been
Yeah.
around me too much.
I just don't have an outlet for all of my emotions. Although I
Here we
heard
go.
that Ben really took up my my cause as, I don't know, if we were Inside Out, the Pixar movie Inside Out,
Oh, no.
I get the feeling that I would be anger. That's what I've heard. I feel like Ben is really up to that level in my
Yeah.
absence. So
Yeah, I would be the sad one,
This-
probably. Yeah.
You think?
Oh, Phyllis's character?
Yeah.
Phyllis plays
Phyllis,
her.
it is Phyllis. Yeah.
That's the only way I can
Wow,
name
I
her.
didn't actually know that's who that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Her real name's Phyllis, too.
Yep.
Really?
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I would go to
It's
anger
like Terry
quickly.
in
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite gifts to send, actually.
There's a ton of characters on The Office who use their real names.
Yeah, I just
3 of
didn't-
them, actually.
I just didn't know that was Phyllis from The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfectly played.
Phyllis, Oscar, and Angela.
By the way, I don't remember. We were talking about this on a microphone. I can't remember which one. Did you go back and watch the new, or did you go watch? I think it's called Soul.
I
haven't
haven't
No,
watched it yet.
Whoa.
I'm having a hard time. There's so many things bombarding me that I want to watch.
Have you
lately. Like
watched
I'm
The Mandalorian?
finally taking up Mandalorian.
Okay.
Really cruising through that. I talked about it. No, I didn't. I talked about it on a different podcast.
What, are you
Shoot.
cheating on us now that
No.
I'm gone?
No, the other podcast
Little
was
known
first.
fact: Chase has like 19 podcasts. That's involved in.
All paid equally.
Okay, wait. What did you talk about?
All right, I don't get want this episode, so I can say it here. There's an episode or a show called Designated Survivor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I'm finding out many people have watched. I would never ever have clicked on it.
It was a
very good.
It was a hit when
yeah,
it came out. Yeah.
I'm very surprised. Kiefer Sutherland,
Caitlin loved it.
old
She's-
Donald's son, Donald Sutherland.
Yeah.
You know,
Canadians.
Snow Day.
I'm leaving it alone. I'm not being
Okay.
baited. I'm not being baited.
Yeah. Oh wow! Look at that.
Wait, what did you say?
He didn't. He
I'm
wasn't
not being
being
baited.
into that
Oh,
comment. Yeah.
Never mind.
All right. So
I
we're
thought you
talking.
said something else.
We're talking today about. We had a pretty big weekend inside of Vertical, and I'll say before we even get going, I was thinking yesterday. I wish we did this all the time,
Yeah.
which I know probably sends chills
Yeah,
down your
yeah.
spine.
Well, if it was the only thing I ever did, then we could totally do it all the
Job
time.
security.
It's true.
Yeah, nix the podcast.
It's just so good, man. I don't know why churches don't do it more.
We should say what we're
Yeah, we
talking
should say
about.
what we do.
Yeah, I was leading to it.
Oh, okay. I thought we were just in our classic trap of this thing we do so good. You know the thing.
guess what it is.
Yeah. So
Hope
guess what?
for story.
Yes, my story matters, and I know probably someone listening is just pounding their dashboard. I can't remember how it achieved that name.
My story matters.
Yes.
I thought we stole it.
Did we steal it?
No. That's the one thing we didn't steal. I think.
Since
I think
when?
Luke.
Oh, gosh.
I think
Did Luke
Luke
name it?
Luke would know.
Yeah, I know
this
that
has
it was
been around for
stolen
a while.
from us.
It really has.
It's been stolen
For my
from us
time.
and
What
changed
did?
into
Our
like
time.
Well,
your
we-
story
we
matters.
had-
What did we steal?
Everything.
Oh, like language and
All
stuff.
of it,
But
yeah.
like we said, your story matters all the time, and then I think we converted it into an idea, like a one-off idea.
Yeah, I'll admit it sounds very Luke, like as he's editing the first one to go, we're going to call this my
Okay,
story
so that
matters.
sounds
Yeah.
like that was like 2018. I had no part of that.
No,
copyright
Yeah,
infringement.
2016.
me either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Avery and I are not liable
Megan,
for that.
Megan was the first one.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So for the people listening that don't know, who haven't got to experience one yet, what is My Story Matters?
Yeah, so someone in our community, and actually the roots of this were back when we were doing baptisms different here. We would record a video of their story, they're answering 3 questions. It turned into something a little bit larger. We just started to appreciate people's life stories more and realize this is where the rubber meets the road. I mean, we could give biblical speeches 52 weekends a year, but when you hear someone's life story and you hear what God has done in their life and how they were angry at God for certain things or just the difficult things that have happened to them and where they are now and where they're still struggling to be now, it does something different to the mind and also to the heart to be able to identify, okay, and I think this is a major thing. This person isn't paid to be a professional Christian. They're also willing to share some really difficult and embarrassing things, and they're doing that for my benefit. I mean, who could sit in a room and be like, whatever, you know? You can just tell when we share these stories, when people show this video, and I think it was your suggestion that instead of doing a person's video and then some teaching, but that was kind of dipping our toe in the water. We're like, well, we should still give people church, you know? Instead of doing that, we should show the video, and then we should interview the person if they're willing to kind of fill in some gaps and make it a little bit more like in person, I guess for a better term. But yeah, My Story Matters. We have 3 planned this year.
Yeah.
And
3 more or 3 total?
No, 3 total.
Okay.
Yeah, but and honestly, this is a great medium.
I feel like we need
put
to
this
help
on.
Austin with the air over there.
Yeah, it's like
It'll
just
turn
turned it
off eventually.
Sorry for that background noise.
Keeps hitting
Yeah.
buttons.
Speaking of the Mandalorian, it's like a spaceship fired up behind us.
Really.
It's off, I swear.
Yeah. So
yeah.
the idea being that people need to be able to listen to other people who have struggled with faith and struggled through their journey, share that journey. Such a powerful thing. So we have 3 planned, but I was saying this medium is a great place to say it's an incredible amount of work to pull these off.
Yeah.
You have to schedule the person. Just go through this briefly. The person has to agree to do it, and then they have to go through the panic that they agreed to do it. Then they have to meet us at a particular time. We have to set up all the stuff to be able to capture their story.
Well, even before that, like, we don't like coach them on what to say, but you go through a process of like almost chiseling off the nerves of like helping them with their story and getting it on paper and in order that makes sense. Where like we've all shared our stories before. I feel like it's hard not to go into that spiral of like,
And
well, I did
then-
this. Oh wait, hold on, I forgot to go back and say, and
Yeah.
then it helps get rid of all that.
Yeah, you have to coach them a little bit. And some people are just more natural at storytelling.
Yeah.
And the last 2 that we've had with Bill and with Jack, they're just natural storytellers. And what gave you so much grief this time, I think really helped things in the room with Jack's story. He's so slow and methodical with what he says.
Easily our longest one, but like it didn't feel long.
Yeah,
It was
it
just-
really didn't. The letter and that moment, just that key moment that you left in there where the track drops out and he says to himself, I hope I can get through this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, man, what a beautiful
It
moment.
just felt cheesy. Like it felt like Titanic vibes to try and milk a moment. It just felt awkward. Anything I put under it, so I just
Yeah, no, I
did
think
not.
it was great because your mind was used to like, okay, we're moving along. Then the music drops out. You're like, whoa, something just got serious.
Something's heavy here.
Yeah. So, but anyway, the My Story Matters. I just started thinking this is the type of thing that makes such a big difference in people's faith journey. And we're only, YouTube quoting, we're only doing it 3 times.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we had a great one yesterday. So I thought maybe we could take a few minutes today and just respond to, from our perspective, hearing Jack's story.
Just kind of like highlights or what stood
Yeah,
out
like
to us.
what hit you like, whoa, that's heavy, or
Yeah.
typical response conversation.
Yeah, I don't know. I appreciated his willingness to sit in, obviously, the vulnerability that it takes to be able to sit in and have somebody record your story in that way is tough. But unlike a lot of the My Story Matters that I've watched in the past, a lot of them are kind of pointing back to either trauma that they've experienced kind of caused by other people, which is something that we've talked about a lot recently in the series we just came out of, where we're talking about how we react to certain things and the codes that we hold to because of those. What I found very interesting about his story yesterday, though, was he was basically saying like everything that happened was on me, and this is how it affected my son. So it was almost the reversal of what we've done in the past with My Story Matters. And Jack was just very honest. He's, with some of the things that he struggled with at the time, and he talked about alcohol abuse, drug use, sexual activity, all of these things that he was involved in at the time that could have been detrimental to his relationship with his son. And because of that, because he was open and willing to talk about those things, then him going into this letter that he wrote his son is just like, wow, like you almost got to see while it felt like a long video, you got to see a full life of a man in 20 minutes and the transition that took place because of the community that he was involved in. It was so well done.
Yeah, good call.
That's a tough thing.
It was a reversal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so did you have, other than the letter, when you were watching it, you have one of those moments like, whoa.
Yeah, I love the moment where he talked about when they, what was his son's name?
Jason. Yeah.
When they dropped off Jason to live with him, he through a series of events, he gained custody of his son at
18 months.
At 18 months, and they were like, "Oh, here he is."
They brought him to my office.
And and he mentioned like his reaction in two phases. He said at first he was like, there's this bond between you and your son when he looks up at you and you're like, that there's that bond there. And then he talked about the other side. It was like, what now?
Yeah, what do
I got a diaper and a bottle.
Yeah. What do I do with this? Yeah.
That's wild. That was heavy to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine. And then he goes on to say that like you can tell that he did some things well, but he's like out of that moment, like he wasn't prepared for it, and so a lot happened because of that.
Yeah. In fact, we're going to post a picture on the My Story Matters page on Jack's page, Jack Page's page. Wow, mind blown.
Jack Page.
It's him in that condo that he mentions, and he's sitting on a coffee table playing guitar, and his son is sitting there, and seeing like a young Jack with his young son, and the story around it now. You're like, whoa, man, this guy was just like building the plane while it was in the air as a father.
Well, and it almost like the way those two interactions paralleled one another is like you have the looking forward to part where he first comes like face to face with his son. Like he's had him on the weekends, but it's like, this is your kid now. And then 18 minutes later into the story, after you hear all about this, almost you're hearing about this interaction in this gorge on motorcycles in Washington where he's reading a letter to his son, and you're thinking about a whole life that took place between those two interactions. He did such a good job summarizing that. I appreciate his ability to tell stories.
Yeah, me too. Avery, from a female's point of view, like I'm always intrigued to hear a woman answer this question because it was typical. Austin and I talked about this just to lead in. You got these My Story Matters, the past two. There's this infamous and mysterious deck and a men's weekend. And I'm like, how is this landing with the females in the room?
Yeah, well, something that he said yesterday during the interview that I really loved was when he was talking about how he realized that he doesn't have to be the victim in his story. And I think that's something that so many people, male and female, can resonate with. Because all of us have had people hurt us or things happen to us that are unfortunate, and it's easy to be upset about those things. And I think there has to be a point where you realize that that you're not the victim, and that like there is you can move forward from that. And I think it takes realizing that you don't have to be the victim anymore to move forward. And I think sometimes it takes someone telling you that or hearing that or seeing that in someone else's life. And I don't know, I really loved that part yesterday when we were talking about that.
Yeah, it was strong. I was thinking, course, sitting there trying to do the interview that is a really unnatural thing for me, because I just get so involved in what the person's saying, and my mind starts racing about all the other connections, and then I forget, whoa, there are 100 people watching, you know?
Yeah.
But when he started talking about that, my first thought was, I hesitate every time I see someone living as a victim. I hesitate to say anything to them about it, and usually don't. I'm like, look at this shift from this guy, Phil Harden, who looked at him and said, you're living as a and Phil Harden is actually, he did our Father's Day. I mean, anybody who knows Phil Harden or watches that film, you know, Phil was probably like, you're living as a victim, dude. You know, I mean, that's just Phil Harden. He's just going to be right in your face with it. And Jack received that, you know, which I think that says a lot about Jack. But at the same time, like, I'm wondering how many people in our own stories, in our lives, are living as victims. In mine, let's make it more personal. And I've been so hesitant and even resistant to telling them that. And that's a huge block to their growth.
Yeah.
You know, so did you have somebody say that to you? Or are you wanting somebody to say that to you?
I don't think I've had anyone say that to me, but I think that that's something that I don't know. When I heard it yesterday, it really struck me, and I think I mean I've been thinking about it a lot since he said it. So maybe that's something that I need to accept in my life.
Yeah,
So,
I think that too. I mean, the general truth is we all have, if not our whole story, pockets of our story
for sure.
where we're in victimhood. We're feeling sorry for ourselves, and it's somebody else's fault, and we're trying to climb out of that. And not to reveal too much, but Jack sat at this table after the first service, and he was like, man, that came out. I don't know, I was really planning on talking about being a victim, but there are a lot of ways that I've really played the victim compared to the other people in my story who experienced the same trauma. It was really actually worse for them.
Yeah.
But I've made myself the center of the story. I was like, God, who is this guy? You know, who gets to this level of self-awareness? But
well, and I think realizing that you don't have to be the victim, like moving out of that, there are a lot of steps to take, which I think can lead to healing. Like, you know, I mean, with that comes forgiving other people or forgiving yourself, or just working through the things that happen to you. I think there's a lot that it takes to get to that point. And so I think that's why people get stuck, me and myself included, being the victim. So I don't know. It's huge.
yeah, really intriguing idea.
Chase?
I think there's so much to it. I think the thing that I was most proud of and excited by in the story was the fact that Jack consistently was blowing off the church staff that was trying to reach him, and it took
I'll get back to you.
people in the community circling around him and, like, you know, a word we use, validating him and who he is. You know, it wasn't the community pastor coming out and saying, "Man, I just want to tell you." It was none of that crap.
They're always Southern. Have you noticed that?
They
When you
have to
said
be.
that, I envisioned the youth pastor from that 70s show that comes to the house to hang out with the kids.
Excellent. Man, I have not thought about that in a very long
He's
time.
like, I'll get back to you.
I just think it's so, like, even though it wasn't vertical, it's so much like what excites us about church and what we aspire to. Like, 100%, like, we did this right version of our efforts is us not doing anything and equipping people in the community to reach people like Jack. And to see that, you know, that's possible, and that we have a guy in our community that's experienced that before and is now doing that for other men.
Yeah.
Freaking cool.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Also, I loved his encouragement to write letters to people.
It's very Jack.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that in that way. I don't know that I've ever written a letter to anybody, you know?
I had a pen pal once, but they never wrote back.
Well,
Quite
It
a
was like
pal.
fifth grade.
their time in the
no.
penitentiary came to an end.
Honestly, they got out before they could get back to me.
Right. You hope. No, he mentioned writing letters to people, even if they would never receive it. And I thought that was very interesting because I would never, ever do that. My the way that I tend to deal with that sort of thing is either to let you know and I've never really pictured myself as a victim. If anything, I jumped to that survivor place much more quickly, which shows the difference between Avery and I. That's, different personalities. That's good. But when he mentioned writing letters, I don't know. It stuck out to me. I was like, I wonder if that's, well, okay, first off, if I'm being honest, I was like, that's a load of crap. Like, I would never do that.
There's the truth.
But then
that's a good truth. Let it out.
But then I'm watching Jack, who I actually respect a lot, particularly after
So much
yesterday.
healthier than you.
Yeah, right, yeah. And I'm like, well, I mean, listening to his story, I'm like, maybe that's a valuable exercise to work out. I don't know. Did you plan on him saying that? I thought that was very interesting.
No, okay, so I'll take a moment to be honest. So it's out here for the world to see. But I'm waiting on that letter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a few letters, I think.
Yeah.
And some of that is a result of, to not play the victim, a result of my personality, which I'm learning a lot through therapy. And Jack learned a lot through therapy as well. But I just thought, there's going to be so many people. I said this to Cammie. We were watching it on the couch on Saturday. And I said, the people in the room, and I think I said this one service, they're either going to be so emotional thinking about what Jack did, or they're going to be so angry that their father didn't. I don't want to put people in that place without giving them something to do or to hang on to. And it's Jack's experience in the masculine community where they faced guys who are sitting at those weekends and their father's dead, and they can't. Their dad's never going to write them a letter, so they have to figure out what to do. He said after service, he's like, "Man, I really fumbled with that answer." I'm like, "No way, man. That was great advice.
It was
Yeah.
Great
powerful.
advice."
It was good.
The other side of it too is that it wasn't a Ned Flanders letter. That would have been a disaster.
Wow,
And
great reference.
Yeah.
there are a lot of those, man. And the fact that, I mean, I've been walking around for a couple of days going, Smith Barney Bulls, like he's just giving this, for a while there's this little
Doing
play-by-play.
your first baseball team, the Smith
I
Barn Bulls.
love that so much.
Yeah.
Guys, so cool.
Here's where you were born. Here's the day you were born on. And his son's like, yeah, Dad, I'm pretty clear on my birthday, but it's the fact that Jack was like, in that letter, I felt cementing some things for his son.
Yeah.
Because Jack, his childhood was so fluid and changing and family separation, and Jack was writing it like you're listening in on a Western.
Well, and with the mention of the name of the baseball team or where he was born, to me that communicated, and I love that he's so good at this, but it communicated that I may have seemed vacant at points during your childhood, but I need you to know I was cognizant of everything going on.
Oh, yeah.
I was just also, like, my life was also hitting the fan.
Yeah.
And so, and he even mentioned, like, whenever you struggled in school, I counted it as the chaos that I had brought on. Like, I was like,
Unbelievable.
gosh.
Talk about some ownership. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
golly. And what that would do to set somebody free, I think the inspiration behind that is you could write a letter. I mean, it all fit on one sheet of paper typed out. You could write a letter that then sets somebody free from their own interpretation of events that is too myopic. It's too centered on them, and I don't want to make assumptions about it. I don't know his son at all. Never met him. But I'm thinking in my story, there's probably a lot of stuff I'm owning that if I could just have a real clear conversation with a couple people in my past, they'd be like, whoa, wait a minute. I can give you some more details here that'll just set you free on this particular. But we don't do that for each other. I wish we would do it more.
Pride.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And I just,
I was thinking, I was like, I don't know that I could do that were I in Jack's shoes, at least not where I am now. I would have a very hard time writing that letter. And maybe that is pride. I don't know, but.
Well, a lot of it too is, and Avery alluded to this, it's the amount of work that Jack has done. I mean, Jack didn't just go to like a men's weekend and they roasted a pig or something. He was like, oh, I got it. I mean, he's been at this forever.
Yeah, and he made that very clear when he was during his interview. Like he was like, it was a lot of work on my part, like to get through these things. Like he was very clear that didn't just happen overnight.
Yeah, and here's a phrase that Jack uses a lot in conversation. That's not me. And
That's not me.
Yeah, when I first heard it, I'm like, that's intriguing. Like he can clearly define what isn't him, but he's one of those special men in society today that can say that's not me, but in a letter can also say that is me. That's on me, son. So, and the other line that was so great, good place to start, son. Like, oh man, you're John Wayne, but the real deal,
Yeah, how does he sound like he's from Texas and he's freaking North Mississippi or no, South Mississippi?
Who knows? And there's so much more to Jack's story. I almost wish we could pull him into this podcast, and maybe we will. But maybe we could wrap the segment by saying, truth or dare, I guess. Are you guys going to write a letter to someone in response to a story?
That's not truth or dare.
Wait, what's the dare?
The dare is if you don't, we dare you to let us write one.
Would you rather write the letter or
mail the
diarrhea?
Are you going to write a letter?
Monday, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, I think I could write the letter, but giving it to that person would be the hardest part.
Secondary question: do you know who would write the letter to?
Yes.
Right off the
You
bat.
do? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Young Avery.
Man, that kind of sucks. It's easier to be like, well, I would write a letter. I just don't know who to. You're like, no, I got the person, and I'm going to write it. But
I feel like most people, I had one person pop up in my mind too. I feel like most people know.
Honestly, there are probably a few letters I could write.
yeah. I think the other thing too, though, I would want to know, because it worked out for Jack, and that's awesome. But there's probably a few stories of the letter was like nuclear meltdown in that person's relationship or family, or it didn't do what you needed it to do. But I think for me, I do want to write a few letters, and they're almost all to family, which makes me really nervous. So, because families have equilibrium,
Right.
and I definitely don't want to mess that up. But taking ownership and writing a letter seems like a great idea. Chase, you've already written yours, right?
Anyway.
Is that a thing you have?
No,
I don't know.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I was playing along.
Yeah.
All right, awkward end.
Yeah, well, I think we're challenging everyone listening or watching and listening to write that letter.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted the awkward end, and he didn't do it.
I'll pray about it.
Oh, there we go. Oh.
Do I start it now?
No. So do you want like a trombone or
A flute, but since it's my segment.
Oh, you do it then. No. Do your best interpretation of a flute.
No.
We do have a little bit of a conflict in that it's now Avery's segment, but the previous owner of the segment.
No, she can have it. I'll judge silently.
Well, I used to always send Austin the questions anyway.
Oh,
And
now
I would
the
choose
truth
one.
comes
I would
out.
choose one to make her feel good and put it in.
Okay.
No, what you got? Come on.
Killer questions. I see
What
three
else
over
you
there.
got?
Okay, so I've also seen this question going around the internet. I can't take credit for this one, but I thought this one would be funny to discuss. What is something that is embarrassing for no reason?
When you trip. It's embarrassing for
that
everyone
is
trips.
embarrassing.
I know, but everyone trips.
Farts.
Ah,
They should not be.
Another thing
Okay.
everyone does.
Pooping.
No, getting out of the pool.
I'm not embarrassed by that.
It
No.
wasn't embarrassing.
No, not like out of from the steps, like crawling out of the pool. Like
You
that.
can't do,
No, you
can't
just
do it
lift yourself up
gracefully.
It's
and
like a
spin.
reverse dip.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I've never seen me get out of the pool.
No, I haven't.
I like
But don't ever
roll.
swim near me now because I'm gonna be like, all
Literally
right.
all just watching Avery.
your
When's she
shot.
gonna get out?
That's the thing, though. I can identify. You feel like people are watching. Like nobody cares, but you feel like everyone's watching you.
Y'all
like,
need to work on your ego.
Is it gonna
Nobody
work?
cares.
Are you
No,
going to
I
get out of the
don't
pool?
care. Like I'm not like, oh my god, everyone's looking at me get out of the pool. I'm just like this. I feel weird getting out of the pool right now.
literally never thought
Maybe
about
because
that.
Maybe because it's because I'm a girl and like
Could be.
that. That's
Could be,
always
yeah. That
a
makes sense.
worrisome thing.
All right, so it
like,
should
never
not
thought
be
about it.
embarrassing, but it is.
Also, wearing the cape at the hairdresser. I feel like that's always kind of embarrassing. Like when you're
Jeez
walking
Louise.
around in it.
No. No.
I
Wow,
don't
but
know.
men don't have to walk around in it. That's
See, I do because like
See,
I
at
get
our
my hair
barbershop, they
washed.
just give us a beer and they're like, all right, go do
No,
your
no.
Yeah,
I
give you
feel
all like
like-
cape.
here's your beer and
Yeah.
a cape.
It's like the big thing that goes all around you, and
Like
like
a
you have to
superhero.
walk from.
That's what happened to that guy at the Capitol.
It's like walking from the after getting your hair washed, and you have your hair like in a towel, and then I always have to take my glasses off because they're washing your hair, so I can't see anything. And so I'm like,
You've thought about
walking
this so
around.
much.
Oh,
I really
that
haven't.
sounds traumatic.
But like
I'm having a hard time.
feel
Okay,
like-
wait, what is the question?
something that is
embarrassing?
embarrassing for no reason. Doing a mic check. Those are embarrassing too.
Oh, no, that's just your time
Gosh.
to
Just
shine.
say the
Yeah.
Pledge of Allegiance. It's easy.
I could
Embarrassing
go.
for
I could go
no
on this for a
reason.
day.
Great. Keep going while we think.
I really,
Do you ever get embarrassed,
I mean, I've been embarrassed, but not.
but not for no reason?
I'm trying
don't
to like. I don't get embarrassed with just general things that I do. I don't think.
Tying your shoe in public is a little awkward. Or
You're literally
running,
sucking the life out of Chase.
running with a backpack on.
It's
That's
What
exhausting.
is the context?
It's
of that?
exhausting just hearing this list.
When are you like Dora the Exploring it around the office?
Come on, Boots.
With the bag.
you can't tell me to
Sorry for
run
not
with a
surfing.
backpack on.
Running with the backpack.
No, I was always on time to class.
because
No,
the weight
it's not
is
even-
shifting. It just like
Yeah,
But it's
it's
not
just like,
embarrassing
you
because of
look
the backpack.
weird.
It's embarrassing because I'm having to sprint to class.
Why are you sprinting in public?
Well,
That should be embarrassing.
because
Yeah.
the thing is, if you're not using your arms, you look weird running. But if you're not holding your backpack down, then that also looks
If
awkward.
you're sprinting in public, there should be like the
That's already
molinator
embarrassing.
coming up from the bottom of the
man.
like.
I mean, I can't say that I do this, but I've just seen other people doing it, and I'm like, they look a little funny right now. Honest moment here. Okay.
wow. It is just
I can't top you, Avery.
yeah.
I
The
don't.
world of Avery's mind is such an interesting
Okay,
place.
I have to think. So embarrassing things that
It's okay if you don't have an answer. I have enough for all.
I mean, do y'all know? Do y'all have anything?
I would just say any sort of failure that's public should not really be that
Mm.
embarrassing because everyone fails.
Ooh, like dropping your plate in the cafeteria. That's really embarrassing.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of embarrassing things. I'm thinking of things when I feel so self-conscious and I shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's a.
Does that count?
Yes,
Because I'm
that
not really
definitely-
embarrassed. I'm
yeah.
just like, oh, are they watching me?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Give me an
Like I
example.
feel awkward walking up the stairs.
Ooh, crossing the street. Like
No.
when cars.
No.
I always feel awkward.
Walking upstairs?
Yeah, I feel like everybody looks weird walking upstairs.
I don't
I
know.
don't- I don't
I
feel
think
that
my
one.
dad just told me when I was very young, like, no, literally nobody is actually looking at you.
Well, see, I know that, but I still feel awkward just because I'm myself.
Oh man.
Like I'm not like, oh no, someone's watching me tie my shoe, but I'm like, I feel a little weird tying my shoe right now.
Asking questions like as you're learning to do adult things that weren't taught to you when you were younger. Because the
Boom.
American school system is
Boom.
stupid and doesn't teach you things early. Like asking
And the
questions about
American family.
taxes or buying a house. Like I feel like an idiot, but like I just don't know these things.
Oh, you don't know about escrow?
Yeah.
No, I don't
I've
know
never
about
heard of that
escrow.
word
Sorry.
until today.
Sorry. Oh, you didn't file homestead exemption? No. Okay, no, nobody. There was no class on that.
I will be doing that though. We had a great realtor.
We did do that.
Yeah, we're
yeah,
definitely.
she's texted us like 5 times already.
Do this.
You have to do
She
this.
made me panic though because I thought I was doing like January and
Yeah,
we have
it's
until
at the
April.
end of March.
Yeah.
April.
Oh, okay, well, I
Even
was
better.
freaking
It
out.
says on the court, the
Anyway.
county clerk. April.
Okay, I
may
don't.
be wrong.
I
It's okay.
because even stuff like that, I'm like, I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I think
Must
it's more
be
just I
nice.
just don't want to feel stupid. But it's also like
There's
I
gotta
shouldn't feel
be.
stupid.
Okay,
for
so
that.
what are embarrassing things that I do?
Yeah. I don't know.
You're perfect. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a
Stop.
tough segment.
You sound like
I'm
Dalton
kind
right
of
now.
thinking
I
around
never get
like
embarrassed.
being in a room where you know everyone's smarter than you. That's a little bit, but that's more like intimidating.
Mm.
You know, you really shouldn't be embarrassed that you're not a whatever. But
I hate feeling. No, I don't know. That's not even a good one either.
I feel like we should move on.
yeah, next question.
Is there another question?
Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna beat Avery's backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you
I
just
need
rattle
someone
off like
to
10
be like,
more?
oh yes, I feel
Can
awkward
you just
when that
rattle
happens.
off like 10
too.
more?
I probably could, but I'm not.
Okay.
What is the funniest actual name you've heard of someone having?
Oh, easy. Without a,
Oh,
this is
boy.
a real
Wow.
person.
Yes.
Do
Do they listen?
Probably not. There's no way.
Okay.
So I worked for a church previously. Well, actually, Caitlin and I have a lot of these because she's a teacher and I'm a student pastor. So
Yeah.
there are some ridiculous
some too.
names that people give to people. We had a we had a couple of kids that were coming to our student ministry at a church that I worked for, and I knew the oldest brother. His name was Jatorius. Sweet kid, great drummer. He was a cool kid. So
That sounds like an epic name, by the way.
right, they called him
Jatorius.
JT, but his name was
Even
Jatorius.
better.
So,
Yeah.
so his name was Jatorius, a blessed. But that's not
How was that part funny?
So,
blessed.
and he had another brother, and I don't remember his name, but it was something like that. And so he told me one week, he's like, "Hey, my other younger brother is going to come to the student thing that we did on Wednesdays the next week." I was like, "Great, awesome! I can't wait to meet him." And he showed up, and I introduced myself. I was like, "Hey, I'm Austin," and he's like, "Hey, I'm Bob."
So you got Jatorius a blessed.
I had Jatorius, a blessed, and Bob, and I was like, "Bob, what?" And he was like, "Just Bob." And I rocked on for a year thinking that kid's name was Bob.
But it wasn't.
Turns out his full name is Bob Riguez. Bobriges.
Yeah,
Bob
they
Riguez.
Latinized a little bit of a white name.
It was a little bit of a yeah. It was like
That's creative.
Bob Riguez.
I laughed so much at a blessed, like how and how much that mom called her shot. Like, this kid's gonna be blessed, a blessed child.
That's something
Pretty
I
on
will
the
say.
nose.
That is something that our culture does
The black
not take
community
advantage of.
gets way more creative with their names.
I'm going to
Yeah.
speak this on that baby.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
She will be precious.
Jatorius, a blessed,
She
and
will
Bob
be
Riguez.
Oh man.
Great movie.
So there was a girl in band with me. She played the bassoon, which makes this even better.
Wow, what's wrong with the bassoon?
It's just
I'm not in touch with
It's an
band
awkward
cultures.
looking. It looks like a large pipe.
yeah, it's like it's
Like-
as
like a
tall as you
smoking
are.
pipe.
Especially if you're
A very
mi-
small
Okay, look,
mouthpiece.
band kids, y'all all look ridiculous.
especially hey,
Go
especially
ahead.
if you run with a backpack on.
Those would be the kids to run with backpacks.
Yeah,
The
that's
tuba
probably,
people look
I
the
think
most
I have some
ridiculous.
PTSD from being in band, and that's probably
Clearly.
why.
Go ahead.
Clearly. Continue with their story.
Her first name was Justa, and her last name was Foot, Foote. So her name was Just a Foot.
Wow. That's a miss.
That was actually her name.
That is a
Sometimes
miss.
when that happens, I'm like, look, I hate to break it to you, but your parents were not psyched to have you. Like they were like holding a vendetta against you. They were like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get this kid for forever.
Just a
and
foot.
I-
No.
kids,
What is the why?
Yeah,
kids
why?
were mean, of course, and so they
Yeah.
like started a rumor that her middle name was Little, but I don't think that was true.
Littlefoot?
Oh,
Just
great movie.
just a
That's
little
a good
foot.
callback. Wow, kids at your school are creative. Mine.
Yeah, I
Just a
know.
little foot.
I mean, y'all heard all my nicknames from middle school.
Your school sounds like a horrid place.
No, it was good
It's all
time.
them
Good Hope Middle
Duck
School.
Dynasty
Shout out.
children.
Maybe we would all be sad and crooked
all
if we
those
went to
Duck Dynasty
West Monroe.
Jeez. And then I also knew
Speaking of dropping EPs, sad and crooked.
Sad and crooked.
that's what they
My
called me
mixtape
here.
dropping.
And then I knew a kid in elementary school named Justin Time.
Just in
Just in time.
Oh, shoot! I have another one.
All right,
Yeah,
go.
we had a kid, and I didn't know this until he signed up for a camp. But his first name was Grinnin. Grinin. Grinnin.
Yeah.
And so he signed up for a camp, and I saw all his insurance stuff and had his full name. That child's first and middle name are Grinnin Barrett.
Oh my God.
Grinnin Barrett.
Barrett.
I was
That was
like,
on his paperwork.
Wow.
that's
Jesus.
his name. I was like,
It does. It
and you
shows
know what?
a
He
sense
was
of humor.
super happy-go-lucky.
Grinning
So maybe
Barrett.
It's like a
Man.
boy named Sue.
Maybe you can speak it into existence. I don't know. He was a super happy kid.
It's like the flip side of the Johnny Cash song. He was
Yeah.
happy about the
he
name.
was a sweetheart.
Those are funny. I have nothing to.
Yeah,
top
I can't think of anybody that had just a ridiculous
Nobody
name.
in your high
No
school.
one?
Not really. Yeah. I do always get confused though if there's like a definitive gender-based name that seems to be misapplied. I'm like, that's a
Yeah.
little strange. Like what? And the people are always apologizing for it, you know. And not the ones that are obviously names, right? But if you meet a girl and she's like, yeah, my name's David, and I'm like,
I've always like
What?
naming girls Joe and Billy Bob, Billy
Yeah.
Joe.
I think it's cute. I'm here for it.
Really? It
yeah.
just seems odd to me because they feel like they have to
No.
explain it every time they say
Yeah.
their name.
No, I've definitely have told people by name, and they're like, "Oh, that's my brother's name," because
Yeah,
I guess
have an uncle.
Avery
Yeah, I have an
named
uncle
Avery.
Yeah.
A fun little side story here. I was reaching out to a church who I will not name, and
Trying to leave
I'd,
us?
Oh man,
texted.
I almost said a church right there.
The
That
church
would've been
that
bad.
shall not be named. Okay.
No, it's not a church. Anyways, I reached out to the worship pastor just like by like text message or email or something, and was like, I'm interested in playing guitar and all this stuff. And I showed up, and I think he was surprised that I was a girl because
Oh yeah,
you know,
That
playing
sounds
electric
ridiculous.
guitar.
men are supposed to play the
Yeah.
guitar.
Then he was
Yeah.
surprised that you actually can play guitar. This I'm sure this only got better.
Look,
Yeah.
we shouldn't talk about Chris when he's not in the room.
Seriously, yeah. All right, next question.
Yeah. And final question: what is your secret talent? What's like something that you're randomly really good at?
Secret talent.
There you go.
Well,
I keep smacking my
counts.
beard.
I beat you to it. Now it's my talent.
Yeah. Ow.
It doesn't necessarily even have to be a secret, but
Secret talent.
it could be a secret talent.
I talk so much about myself. Nothing about me is secret.
I can thump really hard,
Yeah, like
which I was not
something
able
like
to do.
that.
I was not able to do that until after the game thumps died off.
Yeah, but now you have to discipline your child.
Yeah, I don't have to
That's
spank her. I can just.
Thump.
Like, is
Yeah.
there something you're like really good at cooking? Like, you're really good at chopping an onion?
No,
or
I'm one of
something?
those decent at many things and not really good at anything.
Master of
Okay.
none.
Yeah, I don't. This is a difficult question, actually. You should have prepared me.
You're not good at anything.
I feel like you of all people at this
Yeah.
table would have
No,
had
I
something.
feel like you're good at random things.
Yeah, I don't know. I read and research about a lot of things, but to attain the
Can't you
level
like run
of,
really fast or something?
No.
Easy. No, yeah, I don't really have things on me. I'm average at a lot of things. Maybe that's what I'm really good at. I'm good at being average at a lot of things.
Oh, darts.
Yeah.
yeah, you're good at
Yeah.
darts.
Okay, I will say that.
How did you get good at darts? Was it just natural, or
No,
did you?
definitely not. My father-in-law.
Countless hours.
Yeah, my father-in-law worked for 20 years in Equatorial Guinea, Africa, with Exxon, and worked with a lot of Brits and Scots. They all love to play darts, so he
There you go.
learned from them. And when I went to see them for holidays and all those sorts of things, we would hide in the garage and play darts. So he taught me, and he taught me the board and how to throw if you're odd and need to get even, just all sorts of weird things.
That's
Does
pretty
that,
cool.
Does that make you feel like a man though?
It does make me feel like a man. Yeah. Like almost to the level
Is
of
that why we
getting
have
my
a
beard
dartboard
trimmed.
in the green room?
Yeah, that just holds darts. Actually, the reason we have a dartboard is so that people can stand on that level and throw,
The
see if
upper
they
It's
can.
my
There's a
favorite
yeah.
thing to
There's a
do.
mezzanine above the camera.
We should
over
call
there.
that the upper room.
The upper room.
Yeah, I didn't
Put
think
a
about
sign.
that. Yeah, darts. I'm unusually good at darts.
Mm-hmm.
Although
Yeah.
people that I teach often end up becoming very, very good at darts and beat me
Dalton.
frequently. But yeah,
What about you, Austin?
Okay, this is one that I think about every Sunday, but not between then. But it's because I do it every Sunday, and people like give me. There's no better feeling than like when you're really owning something, and somebody next to you looks at you like, "Wow, you're really good at that." Like surprisingly good at that. I cannot sing. I'm not just shockingly good at any instrument. I'm not entirely musical. I can clap really, really loudly. And so on Sundays, whenever like we're trying like
hype the room.
hype the room,
Yep.
I love to clap right behind Daniel Diffie, and without fail, he looks at me and gives me the most affirming like head
Do you
nod.
just, if you're ever feeling bad about yourself, do you just go clap by Diffie?
Yeah, I just
Are you a cup clapper or
no,
just a
you
force
kinda,
clapper?
Yeah, it's like a right there.
an offset.
Yeah, offset, and
That's how you get a bassy clap. But if you put in your palm right there, it's
I can
piercing.
I just clap really loudly.
I heard a comedian one time describing watching a crowd of humans clapping and they didn't know, as if they didn't know what was going on. It was hilarious. Like, who taught humans to do this as like a sign of affirmation? We're gonna slap our hands together.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
It is kind of funny. I'm just hoping one day, like, to see an ad that like somebody is about to release an album and they need a very good clap on there. Like
Yeah.
you just have to be able to clap
Why
on
don't
time.
Why don't we just record your clap and sell it as a sample?
We honestly, we could put that into
Just
the mix
layer it.
on Sundays to get it going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Bring
I
the
don't
great.
know.
energy.
Time that says
Sad and
apply.
Crooked may need a little happy clap on one of their tracks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I think
That's
it's
what I'm
pretty.
gonna go
I
by
think it's
now.
interesting though to think about the songs that have someone clapping in
Yeah.
them.
And they typically get credited on the albums too.
Do they really?
Yeah, or
That's
like
all
gang
I
vocals.
need. That's
yeah.
really all I need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what are y'all good at?
This is kind of a very specific thing, and you can't test me on this right now because it won't happen. But
Diaring your feelings.
thank you for that.
Go ahead.
Catching pencils with my hands, like if you throw.
As opposed to your mouth, or
no, like
And not cut yourself is what you're saying?
just like if you threw a pencil at me from across the room, I could probably catch it with my hand.
What if it was on fire?
you're so stupid.
This made me think of another talent I have. Well, that is pretty talented. But
Wait, when in life has that come up?
What, catching a pencil?
at the horrible school she went to,
Like where somebody's just around the corner
Yeah,
and they're
can I
like,
borrow-
Avery.
Yeah, can I borrow a pencil? And then I catch it. Yeah, it's happened on several occasions, and I can't lie, I feel kind of cool when it happens.
So when you're sprinting down the hallway with your backpack, if I just threw
you
a
a
pencil,
Avery, you forgot your pencil.
you could like 180 catch this thing like the Matrix.
I feel like we've painted a very clear picture
You
of
started
who I
it.
was in middle school. Sad and crooked, running with the backpack with my flute.
That may be
Catching
why
a
you have
pencil.
scoliosis is because you ran
judging
with your
the bassoon
backpack.
player.
I'm so sorry, Avery.
Oh man.
Oh, horse girl, Avery.
No, I don't want to bring that up.
Okay. Okay, I have two. Do you want to say yours that you thought of?
Yeah, it's quick. My dad taught me to put a cigarette on the top of my hand and hit it with the other hand, and I can flip the cigarette into my mouth.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a real
Pastor
Vietnam
Ben.
thing.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
he like winning drinks off
Like,
that, or what was he?
I'm not sure who taught
Party
him the
trick.
trick, but it's you have to put the
The
cigarette.
only way to get more cigarettes is to catch the cigarette. in your
yeah,
mouth.
you put it in between your fingers. You have to orient it the correct way, and then you pop your hand like this, and it shoots the cigarette up, and it rotates and lands in your mouth correctly.
Was
You
that
just
like
gotta be
a
a proper distance away from your.
Yeah, it's yeah.
was that like a party trick you used at MC? At
Yeah,
the MC Ragers?
well, you know, I had that kind of rep out there, so
Ragers.
yeah,
That's why
That's an
none of the other churches
oxymoron.
hired him. They heard his party trick.
yeah, right. All right, you have two.
Yeah, I have two.
I'm intrigued.
All right. Do video games count?
Of course.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know if that's talent,
I've
but-
won money playing Rocket League before.
I don't know if you should brag about that.
You were a horse girl.
Oh, I thought we
Spare
were.
me.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Says the one who catches pencils.
Yeah, I'm real
Were they
good at
even sharpened?
catching
All right,
some
okay.
sharpened
keep
wood
going.
with graphite. Second one is I can brag about this because so few people have attempted it, but I'm pretty good. Probably not as good now, but I used to be really, really good at painting soccer fields.
That is hard.
Straight lines,
Yep.
nailing the circle.
Did you
for
have you were doing the thing?
the walking?
Yeah.
The walking
oh,
one.
We
that
used to
is
do
hard.
baseball.
What about
and
yeah.
That's hard. I don't.
Oh, I was really good at foul
I
lines.
imagine
They're
soccer fields are
so-
even more hard.
There's there's a lot more. There's turning and stuff. You gotta.
I can just see you being like the guy who does that with your like headphones in and your hoodie.
No, I wasn't
Just be
smart
like, "Oh,
enough to
that's
get some
Chase.
headphones.
He's the soccer field guy. And you're just like, oh, what's up, guys? I'm Chase.
Avery, you don't want to start this.
Sorry, I'm trying to paint a picture of you.
No, this
You're
was in
losing.
college.
Yeah.
I was confident already.
We should probably go to
Okay.
the next segment before Avery does something she regrets.
Take the mic away from her.
Yes.
All right, recommends. Recommends. Hey, you know what?
What?
Every episode deserves it.
Except for
Heidi
last
ho, campers! Welcome to your favorite segment. Probably not anymore. I think AUA's become my favorite, favorite segment. But recommends is a close second.
Wait, what is Hottie Ho from?
I made it up.
Oh,
It is a thing. I didn't make it up. I just started saying
there's
it.
a bit with Fallon and Justin Timberlake, which happy birthday, Justin Timberlake. We know you listen.
Why do you?
There's a bit where they're at camp, and I'm pretty sure that's what the camp counselor says.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He's a
The
writer
Camp
on the show.
Winnipesaukee or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have
Gosh,
braces.
I
They
love
both have
those
braces.
videos.
Anyway, that's what
a
it makes
funny
you think of
segment.
every
Gosh.
time.
Yeah.
Great.
Great.
Want, need, wear, read. Janice, as always, we're eternally grateful. Sorry we skipped last week.
Our hats off to you.
Our hats off to you. Anyway, want, something you want, something you need, something you should wear, and something you just have to read. Avery,
There you go.
Yeah.
you're first.
Yeah.
You are first.
I am
You're.
You've got one.
me. Okay. Yeah.
Need a
You
good
got mail.
backpack.
You need a good pencil sharpener.
I'm
Dance
never
work.
gonna let that
No,
down.
go ahead. Sorry.
So there is a rug company
Yeah, you
called
were telling me about this.
it's called Ruggable, and pretty much it's just a machine washable rug,
I've seen these.
which
Yep.
is awesome.
When you have dogs.
Yeah, if you
Yes.
have pets, for sure.
Because I love a white rug, but it's so hard when you have a dog. But now it is possible because you can wash it whenever.
I
And
prefer to beat mine with a broom.
there you go.
No.
Your rug?
That's
Yeah.
old school.
Look, I'll be honest.
No, dog.
I have a yellow lab, and if I just don't vacuum for a while, it's kind of like a white rug. You know. No, I'm just kidding.
How often do you wash said rug? Do you have to do it like every week or?
I don't know what the recommended is, but I feel like just whenever it's dirty.
Yeah.
Or,
No,
if
these
you
are the.
spill-
This is recommends. You got to know the
The
recommended.
fear would be if you can wash the rug, you feel compelled to wash the rug often.
Yeah. Well, if you,
I would wash it pretty regularly. I think if you're able to wash it.
yeah.
It kind of it folds up or it crumples up in the ads like, whoa, that's really small. That
Yeah.
wouldn't be a big deal.
and there's no wrinkles.
Yeah. No, well, you wash it and put it in the dryer. Which is what
No
blew my
way.
mind
That's
is that
cool.
you dry
Does
it.
it shrink?
Like you don't have to.
How big is yours?
It's oh gosh, it's like 8 by
10.
10.
Yeah, usually
yeah, I
10.
think that's what it is.
that's cool.
It might be a little smaller than that. I can't
All the
remember.
adults spoke up. 8 by 10.
Well, we have an 8 by
Yeah.
10 in our living room, so I would be curious.
Yeah, that's what it's in our
I'd be
living
curious to see
room.
how it goes.
Ruggable. Ruggable.com.
Yeah, ruggable.com. They have so many options. Like any style of rug, mid-century, modern, whatever.
but yours is just white.
No,
It's Star Wars, right?
It is, but it's not as lame as it sounds. I promise. Go.
It's actually cool. You can't tell it's Star Wars
yeah,
until
it's
you
like
zoom
single
in.
It's
line
Obi-Wan
design.
Like an
catching
X
pencils.
spider. or-
Yes.
No, it's
Using the force.
Avery uses the Force.
that's how I clean.
I'm
my
envisioning
rug.
like
Catch
baby
this
Yoda
pencil,
on
young
this.
Padawan.
No, it's really cool. But yeah, go check it out.
If you had a ruggable rug that was just Liam Neeson's face,
As he
Honestly,
gets stabbed.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh man,
I'm done. That's funny.
great.
All right. Solid want.
Great.
Ruggable. That's a good one.
Need. This is Chase.
Feeling needy. Great. Oh man, I forgot mine.
We need to circle back to you.
No.
No, you can never
Okay.
do that.
All right.
No.
I'll never say that
Oh
again.
crap! What was my recommend?
Insert interlude music.
Let me go get my flute
Actually,
real
yeah.
fast.
Stay tuned. Stand by. All right. And we're back. This episode has been off the rails. Now it's in the water. You need to try cooking with apple cider vinegar. Don't use much, but if you haven't tried teasing a little bit of bitter, liquids or herbs or stuff like that in your cuisines, you're missing out because it keeps you from being overwhelmed with kind of the overly salty, over savory kind of feel that you can get sometimes if you're not a great cook. If you add a little bit of either rice vinegar or apple cider vinegar or something like that, you don't really notice it, but you miss it when it's gone. So just a
A
capful.
little bit goes a long way.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, that stuff is incredibly acidic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has
Anyway.
all kinds of health benefits
I was
as
gonna
well.
say,
Crazy
I
amount of
feel
health
like
benefits.
My grandma used to make us drink that.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Some people drink it once a
What's
day.
the brand, the number one brand? Bragg's?
Oh, I don't
is
know.
the
I
name
just
of
use
it.
Kroger's.
Yeah. Yeah. solid.
I don't call Kroger Kroger's. I was saying Kroger apostrophe
Kroger's
S.
brand.
Yeah, I'm not psychotic.
That's
I
a
don't know
real
why.
grandpa move too.
Yeah, Kroger's,
We going to the Kroger's later?
My grandpa says Walmart's.
Walmart's. Yeah, that's
He's just wrong.
that's classic.
Yeah.
Well, he's from Arkansas. Oh my
I'm
god,
so relieved that Chase remembered.
it's like a local thing.
Yeah,
I'm so relieved you remembered that, man. I feel like
It was
we're on
a pretty
journey.
underwhelming recommend to have forgotten, but maybe
Which
that's
is
why
why
I
you
forgot,
forgot it.
Yeah, that's how you forgot.
But you won't. You'll keep doing it once you actually
Forgettable.
adopt it.
There's one older person out there that was like, man, he killed that one. I'm glad he thought
That's
of
what
it.
I've been waiting
That's
for on this
that's what that
stupid show.
generation needs.
Wait, isn't that the socks guy? How does he know
Someone's
about
gonna be
apple cider
offended that you
vinegar?
said
Just
that.
so well versed in
I'm
all
gonna
these
get an
things.
email over
Yeah.
that. My age does not.
I'm gonna jump out there and that whole public failure thing. It may happen right now, so stay tuned. Let me just front end this and just ask the question: the glasses you wear for the computer, blue light glasses?
Blue light glasses.
Blue light glasses. Okay, so I got a cheap pair of these from Amazon because I was like, this has to be a lie. A friend of mine.
Such a.
There's
These-
not
I
ever
don't
been more of a
believe
bin
this.
This has to be a
The
lie.
thing is, stuff like this, Ben's
Are you
like,
sick?
I don't know. But then, like, obscure stuff, he's like, no, this stuff's got to work.
But the thing is, once he gets blue light glasses, he's like, guys,
Guys,
changed my life.
trust me, you're not going to believe
Him on the
this.
recommends.
And here we
every
are.
week.
That is classic me.
so you got a
You're
pair.
never gonna
You've
believe
got to
this.
try it.
Zinc actually helps your health. Yeah, no, but they work. They actually work, especially for people like
do.
us who are we're constantly creating content. That fatigue that happens when you're sitting in front of that screen for that long.
It really does.
I can't imagine. I got like
Pupils
the
completely dilated.
yeah, I got the skeptical $9 pair. I can't imagine. Which probably the lenses are really not anything. But if I got the real
Like
pair,
a sugar pill.
yeah, the real pair, I can't imagine how much relief and eye strain.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious what has more benefits, using the blue light lenses or Apple's tone shift that they do at night, where it warms it
I
up.
feel like a combination of both though, because you're still
no,
looking
that's
at
not the
screen.
question. I know
The tone
plus
shift,
plus equals better.
believe it or
but,
not,
like,
I have an
you
opinion
gotta
about this.
A/B it. What's
sorry.
the better
My
thing?
bad.
I forgive you.
I have an opinion about this, that the tone shift makes it harder for me to distinguish what's on the screen. It's like for some reason the clarity drops for
Well,
me.
okay, as a photographer person, it kind of bothers me too, because I'll look at like pictures that I've taken and edited and
Like,
see
that's
them
not right.
on the tone shift. I'm like, why does it look like that? And then I'm like, oh, it's because it's a lot warmer than it normally is.
Apple's trying to think for me
Yeah.
again. Yeah. So
Only
Tim
Google's allowed to do that.
that's right. So purchasing those, they're not super expensive. I mean, I think you can get really expensive pairs, but
Yeah.
they work. They really actually
They do.
work.
As soon as I got mine, I could tell an immediate difference.
Yeah, it's
Immediate
crazy.
difference.
Way to go, smart person that figured that out. I now
Probably-
believe
it
you.
probably was Tim Apple. They just haven't put the Apple.
Yeah, right on the-
Well, probably because they'd be like $700.
at least, at
You
least.
just wait.
It's fine.
All right, Reed.
Okay, I'm having a hard time with Reed because I've read a few things since the beginning of the year, and I don't know that I've been here since the beginning of the year. I mentioned.
I think you did the. Well,
Oh,
Who is
Yeah, we
there's
have a guest
Who
in the
is it?
studio. Welcome, Michael.
I mentioned. That was so
standing appointment every Monday.
Yeah.
I mentioned the book Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey in a talk a few weeks ago. That was fantastic. It's probably the best read so far this year. But I have talked about it. Also, A Promised Land, Barack Obama's book, was really good. I really.
I'm going to
keep meaning
audible
to-
that one as well.
I
Does he read it?
Yes.
I probably should have done the audiobook, but it's really good.
Say what you want about that man. He can talk.
Yeah.
Great voice.
Yeah. And I haven't quite wrapped it up, but it's really, really good. But probably my favorite thing that I've read thus far this year, like the easiest thing to read, probably I've been reading Ego is the Enemy with our student intern, our student Amplify intern, Jacob. Yeah. Ryan Holiday, which I know
Another
we've
stupid name.
Jacob.
Ryan or
We've talked about Obstacle is the Way, and I think we talked about Stillness is the Key here as well. But the third book in that trilogy is Ego is the Enemy, and it's my favorite out of the three of them. He and I have been reading it since later in the fall. We do, he and I read together weekly. We just kind of go through our notes on that, and it is, I forget how good he is.
Yeah, he's a great writer.
They call that a trilogy, those 3 books.
Mm.
But it feels weird to call nonfiction books a trilogy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why
You
I
know?
kind of balked at that. But he is
You do-
taking
yeah.
on.
And by definition, it is a trilogy,
Right.
but it just feels it's too majestic of a word
But
to
yeah,
self-help book.
They
trilogy.
do run together though, and I would probably say that you should read Ego first.
What order did he
Yes.
write them in?
I think he did Obstacle as the way
Obstacle,
first.
ego, stillness.
But Ego is the enemy.
I think
There's
stillness makes sense to be last.
there's so much in that book. What this book honestly does is it kind of gives you a good perspective on where you are right now. He talks about how you have to battle ego in the beginning, from the time you're young or beginning a project, how you have to battle ego and not let it get in the way of your growth. And then he talks about how you have to battle ego once you are successful, which is really important, I think, going into that topic of the obstacle being the way. So Ryan Holiday is great. If you haven't read him, you really, really should. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, you take the deep dive on that guy too. He's kind of like an unusually calming voice in the culture right now.
Well, you know why he's actually so good is because one of his mentors is a gentleman named Robert Greene. And,
Spacebar.
Yeah, we all know my love for Robert Greene.
Don't do Ryan Holiday's audibles. He reads
Yeah,
his own book.
it's not nearly as good.
He's
I would
as good of a reader.
Matthew, great reader. Barack Obama, great reader.
Yep.
Ryan Holiday,
Malcolm, best
Malcolm,
reader.
Best
yeah,
reader.
Tops.
Yeah,
Tops.
the OG.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else?
Oh,
That'll do it.
All right. Bye.
See ya.